A night of relief and reflection around the country after a Minneapolis jury convicts Derek Chauvin of the murder of George Floyd.
Find the defendant guilty.
The former officer led away in handcuffs. The Floyd family in tears of relief.
My brother got justice, and that's very rare. I'm not just fighting for George anymore. I'm fighting for everybody around this world.
This morning, our one-on-one with Floyd's brother. Moment of reckoning. President Biden urges the country to come together.
This can be a giant step forward in the march toward justice in America.
Just ahead, the calls for Washington to act to make permanent change, and the president's emotional phone call with Floyd's young daughter. Back on track, shipment of Johnson & Johnson's vaccine resuming in Europe after health officials rule the benefit outweighs the risk. Will American regulators greenlight the shot here? The latest ahead of a key meeting this week. All that plus wake-up call, the alarming new study showing lack of sleep now could lead to dementia later. This morning, are you getting enough rest? And happy birthday. The royal family rallying around the Queen as she reaches the milestone age of 95. And the well wishes pour in from around the world today, Wednesday, April 21st, 2021.
From NBC News, this is Today with Savannah Guthrie and Hoda Kotb from Studio 1A in Rockefeller Plaza.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today on a Wednesday morning. It's good to have you along with us.
Yeah, it is great to see you. We're going to get right to our top story. And, of course, that is the much-anticipated decision at the murder trial of Derek Chauvin.
Yeah, the verdict is in. The former Minneapolis police officer guilty on all counts in the death of George Floyd after 2 weeks of testimony and 10 hours of jury deliberation. And overnight, we saw peaceful demonstrations in cities around the country.
This morning, Chauvin is waking up behind bars as he awaits sentencing at the correctional facility. He's 25 miles outside of Minneapolis, while prosecutors now turn their attention to 3 other officers charged with aiding and abetting in Floyd's death.
We have complete coverage, including our new conversation with George Floyd's brother. Craig is in Minneapolis this morning to get us started. Craig, good morning.
Savannah, good morning to you. George Floyd's final words were, "I can't breathe." And really, for much of this past year, that's how his family and this city have felt as they've waited for Derek Chauvin to go on trial. And then again, as they waited for the verdict. Now that the former police officer has been found guilty on all 3 counts against him, there's been a collective exhale, a feeling for many that justice has been served. Prosecutors, in their opening and their closing, implored jurors to believe their eyes, and in the end, they did. Overnight, crowds returning to the streets, this time to celebrate Derek Chauvin's guilty verdict. Almost a year after the country was transfixed by protests in the name of George Floyd. The highly anticipated verdict coming after just 10.5 hours of deliberations.
Members of the jury, I understand you have a verdict.
The former Minneapolis police officer showing little emotion as he learned his fate.
Count 1, unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony. Find the defendant guilty.
The 12 jurors finding Chauvin guilty of second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter. A deputy leading the 45-year-old out of the courtroom in handcuffs. The mother of George Floyd's daughter, Gianna, and family attorneys reacting to the verdict.
With this verdict, we have brought some accountability. Finally, this verdict demands us to never give up the hope that we can make enduring change.
For George Floyd's family, the news bringing tears of joy.
How do you feel?
I feel good, man. I feel special. I feel like this is the day that we all been waiting for.
But were you surprised by the speed with which the jury came back with the verdict?
The video. You don't need nothing but the video. Somebody was tortured to death. And the world seen that, and everybody spoke up. And man, George, man, he's living in me right now. I love my brother so much, man. It's crazy, man.
President Biden calling the family shortly after the verdict.
Nothing is going to make it all better, but at least now there's some justice.
The president later addressing the nation.
No one should be above the law. And today's verdict sends that message. But it's not enough. We can't stop here.
The jury, 6 identifying as white, 6 identifying as black or mixed race, listened to 14 days of testimony from 44 witnesses, including emotional eyewitnesses from the crowd on that day, like Darnella Frazier, now 18, who shot that viral cell phone video of Floyd's death that launched a national reckoning.
He is terrifying.